everybody. It is now time for the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Weekend Wrap-Up Show. I want to thank all of my loyal viewers for being with me here tonight. We have a lot to talk about tonight in the world of college football. We had a great weekend in college football. Both wildcard games in Major League Baseball are now set. Tom Brady's return to New England tonight, playing for Tampa Bay, was something to write home about. We had a great weekend in the NFL. Sadly, though, the NASCAR Cup Series was rained out. So we'll have to wait until tomorrow to drop the green flag at 1 o'clock on the NBC Sports Network. But don't worry. I have a whole mess of stuff I want to talk about here in about the next half hour, 45 minutes or so. Yes, we will be taking a song break during the show. But we will start the show right after this.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sport.
Let's get started. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to be here for a while. Let's go right into the show. The wild card games in Major League Baseball have been set. The American League and the National League, we're all set to go. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock at Fenway Park, the New York Yankees will face the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox clinched home field advantage with more wins. The Red Sox won 10 games to the Yankees 9. This has a feel of 1978 all over again. The Yankees at one point were just down and out, but all of a sudden they clawed their way back and they got there. The Red Sox were in the same boat. Both teams had won the same amount of games, 92. Now, one game playoff, the winner will face the Tampa Bay Rays in the League Division Series. The New York Yankees face the Red Sox, and the pitching matchup has been announced. For the New York Yankees, the Yankees will be sending Garrett Cole to the mound on Tuesday. During the regular season, Cole had a 16-8 record with a 3.23 ERA, 243 strikeouts to his credit. The Boston Red Sox will be sending Nathan Eovaldi to the mound. He had an 11-9 record during the regular season, with a 3.75 ERA, 195 strikeouts to his credit for the season. The Yankees have one big power hitter, and his name is Aaron Judge. The Judge all year hit .287 during the regular season, 38 home runs, 98 RBIs, an on-base percentage of .377, and a slugging percentage of .544. And the Boston Red Sox, they had Rafael Devers. He had a .279 batting average during the regular season, 38 home runs, 113 RBIs. And Xander Bogaerts, he had .295 during the regular season with an on-base percentage of .370 and a slugging of .493. The Yankees may be in a little bit of a hole. Number one, the game's at Fenway. Number two, all three of their guys on the base paths may not be available. Second base, DJ LeMahieu. He is on the 10-day injured list. First baseman, Luke Voigt. He's on the 60-day IL. And Gio Urshela, he's day-to-day. So the Yankees are already going to be without LeMahieu and Voigt. Urshela is day-to-day. But they still have Aaron Judge. So Aaron Judge is going to have to hit the ball. He's going to have to hit and hit it often. The Yankees are going to have to get Eovaldi out of the game early. And the Red Sox, they're in the same boat. If Devers and Bogarts can get Garrett Cole out early, they have a shot. But the Boston Red Sox will be without left fielder JD Martinez. He's listed as day-to-day. Will he play on Tuesday? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. But I'll tell you what. The American League Wildcard game Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on ESPN is going to be something to think about. We're going to be in for a battle, everybody. And we'll see who has the better team when it comes to the end of the season. The season's now over. It's one game, winner take all. The winner moves on to the division series. The loser has a long winter to think about what could have been. All right. That's the American League Wild Card game. The National League Wild Card game has been set. It's been set for a couple of days. The St. Louis Cardinals will face the Los Angeles Dodgers. That is an 8 o'clock game on TBS on Wednesday. And this is a big one. The pitching matchup has been announced. The St. Louis Cardinals are going to be sending Adam Wainwright to the mound. He had a 17-7 record with a 3.05 ERA and 174 strikeouts this season. The Dodgers, they will be sending Max Scherzer to the mound. A 15-4 record with a 2.46 ERA and 236 strikeouts to his credit during the regular season. The Cardinals have two power hitters that can get the job done. Nolan Arenado, during the regular season, he hit .255 with 34 home runs and 105 RBIs. But Paul Goldschmidt, old Goldie, knew what to do. He had a .294 batting average during the regular season, a .365 on-base percentage, and a slugging percentage of .514. And the Cardinals only have one player on the injured list, and that's Genesis Cabrera, the relief pitcher. He is listed as day-to-day. They may not need him, but it would be nice to have him. The Dodgers have Max Muncy, but that could be a problem. And I'll get to Muncy here in a second. But Justin Turner, he's been hitting .278 all year with an on-base percentage of .361 and a slugging of .471. Max Muncy is on the injury report list. He is listed as day-to-day. That could smell trouble for the Dodgers because he hit .249 during the regular season with 36 home runs and 94 RBIs. Now, the game is at Dodger Stadium, and the Dodgers won 106 games during the regular season. Remember that possibility of a bad game and you go home? The Dodgers are in that mess right now. Wainwright versus Scherzer. I think I got to give now everybody's saying that the Dodgers are the heavy favorites, but you need to think about the Cardinals. Think about what the Cardinals and the Dodgers have faced each other in the postseason. St. Louis took it, 85. The Cardinals took the league championship in 6. And then later on, the Cardinals beat the Dodgers in the division series. And they will beat them in the LCS in 2013. I know it's past history, but if you look at what the Cardinals have done and think about the Cardinals, they struggled to get the second wild card. The Dodgers won 106 ball games. The Dodgers could have a bad game and they could be going home. Think about that. But the truth is this. It's a one-game, winner-take-all. Forget what they did during the regular season. Yankees, Red Sox included in this discussion. Forget about what all four of those teams that I've talked about. Forget what they did during the regular season. It's like starting over again, 0-0-0-0. I know it's odd, but we're going to be in for a battle on Tuesday night in the American League and the National League on Wednesday. It's going to be crazy. We'll see what happens on Tuesday night and on Wednesday night as well. All right. Enough wild card talk. Let's go to the NFL. In the game you just saw, and this is the reason why I'm late coming on the air, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the New England Patriots tonight, 19-17. New England's Nick Foles missed a 45-yard game-winning field goal at the end. It hit the left upright, which cost the Patriots the victory over Tom Terrific and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Tom Brady tonight, he was 22 of 43 for 269 yards. Donald Jones, 6 carries, 25 yards, and a touchdown. Joe Tyrone Shanika, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss tonight. Give him some love. But for the New England Patriots, Mac Jones from Duke, he was 31 of 40, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Matt Judon, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss tonight. What did the Patriots do wrong? Well, let's see. The Patriots only had 20 first downs, 294 yards total offense, minus 1 yard rushing. Ouch. 2 of 9 from third down, and he had 2 costly turnovers. That is why Tom Brady's homecoming to New England was a successful one. This was a huge win tonight for the Buccaneers. Tom Brady proved he can win on the road. And Tom Brady proved he can beat his old team. Now, Bill Belichick was a nervous wreck all game. The Patriots had a chance to win it, but they blew it. And I'll tell you what. Great win for the Patriots tonight. They earned it all the way to the end. All right. That was a game you saw just a little bit ago. But let's go back to very early in the day, in the early game action. The Cleveland Browns beat the Minnesota Vikings 14-7. Now, if you're thinking, okay, the Browns had 2 touchdowns, think again. This game had some bizarre moments. I watched this game from start to finish, and it had some bizarre moments that wouldn't even have my dad scratching his head. But first things first, the Browns beat the Vikings 14-7. Baker Mayfield, he was 15 of 33 for 155 yards and a touchdown. Nick Chubb, 21 carries, 100 yards. Great day for him. Kareem Hunt, 14 carries, 69 yards and a touchdown. Myles Garrett, he had a half sack today and 2 tackles for loss to make up for it. Into Chris McKinley, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss today. Think about this. The Vikings, 16 first downs, 255 yards total offense, 5 of 16 on third down, and only had 65 yards rushing. But you want to know where the bizarre part comes in? I'll tell you. With a minute 26 left in the first half, Baker Mayfield on 4th and goal threw a pass. But Minnesota linebacker Eric Hendricks was called for a hold in the end zone. And that's how Kareem Hunt got the touchdown. But during the point after try, former Browns defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson called a timeout that the Vikings did not have during this disheveled moment. And Sheldon Richardson must have brought some of his Cleveland Browns stupidity to Minnesota or something. I couldn't believe it. He tried to call a timeout. The Vikings didn't have it. The officials called the Vikings for delay of game on a point after try. So instead of just keeping the point after and settling for the point, the Browns decided we're going to go for 2. And the Browns got it. And they took an 8-7 lead to the locker room. And the Cleveland Browns, after that, they just needed 2 field goals and that was it. But for the Minnesota Vikings, real quick, Kirk Cousins, he was 20 of 38 for 203 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That interception came after 226 pass attempts without having one. Justin Jefferson, 6 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Daniel Hunter, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. And Everson Griffin, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss for him today. Well, it wasn't a pretty win for the Browns, but the Browns are 3-1 to start the season. And this game was bizarre, which it really was. I couldn't believe it. I saw that point after when when the Vikings were trying to call timeout, they got nailed for a delay of game by the officials. 2 field goals in the second half. That's all the Browns needed. It was 2 field goals. That's all they needed in the second half. And they got the job done. What a win for the Browns. Bizarre at that, but a win's a win, and the Browns are 3-1. All right. Let's move on. The New York Giants ruined the New Orleans Saints' homecoming to New Orleans today, 27-21 in overtime. Daniel Jones for the Giants, 28 of 40, 402 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Saquon Barkley, a nice return for him. 13 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. Kenny Golladay, 6 catches, 118 yards. And John Ross, not John Ross shooting from Dallas, just John Ross. He had 3 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown today. And what a big win for the Giants. But for the New Orleans Saints, Jameis Winston, he was 17 of 23, 226 yards and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara, 26 carries, 130 yards. Tayshaun Hill, 6 carries, 28 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him on the day. The Saints, their day got ruined. The return home to New Orleans after Hurricane Ida kept them out of New Orleans for a while. Their homecoming was ruined. And what a sad day it was. I felt so bad for the Saints. But a great win for the Giants. The Giants got their first win of the season, and a much-deserved one at that. They've been struggling. So the Giants get their first win of the year. But the Giants weren't the only team out of New York to win on Sunday. The New York Jets beat the Tennessee Titans 27-21 in overtime. The Jets had 7 sacks on the day. But first things first, Zach Wilson, 21 of 34, 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Michael Carter, 13 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown. Corey Davis, 4 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Jamison Crowder, 7 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. And the sack machine was on today for the New York Jets. Bryce Hall, he may have only had a half a sack, but it was a big one. C.J. Mosley, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Quincy Williams, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Quinnen Williams, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss today. John Franklin Myers, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. And Bryce Huff, 1.5 sacks and 1 tackle for loss today. A huge day for the Jets defense. That is how they won this game. But for the Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill was 30 of 49, 298 yards and a touchdown. Derrick Henry, 33 carries, 157 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. The Jets won this game despite only having 16 first downs. They only had 86 yards rushing for the game. And they only had the ball for less than 30 minutes. And they still got it done. The Titans had 30 first downs, 430 yards total, and they ran the ball for 177 yards as a team. So that is how the Jets beat the Titans today. A big win. Both New York teams got their first win of the season on Sunday afternoon. And it was a great day. A big win. And it was a Sunday that everybody needed. And that's the bottom line, people. And that's the bottom line. Oh, and just real quick, I just want to let everybody know. The NASCAR Cup race at Talladega today has been moved to 1 o'clock on Monday due to the rain. So, let's get ready for a great day. But now we're going to get ready to talk college football. But before we do, I want to play something by the Ohio State Marching Band. It is called Grand Ole Flag, Stars and Stripes Forever. So please enjoy this tribute from the Ohio State Buckeye Marching Band. Okay, that was the Ohio State Marching Band and Grand Ole Flag, Stars and Stripes Forever. I hope you guys really did enjoy that song. Now let's get back to the show because we got to talk about a lot more college football. I'm going to start it out with the upset of the day. Number 3, Oregon goes down to unranked Stanford on Saturday. Stanford got the job done, but you can take three Oregon penalties on the game-tying 87-yard drive. A personal foul with targeting, which took Kavion Theodebro, he got ejected from the game for that. There was a roughing the passer penalty, and there was a holding penalty in the end zone with just a couple of seconds left. That is what cost. That's what cost Oregon this game. And there were a few other mistakes, and I'll get to that in a minute. But for Stanford, what can you say? Tanner McKee, 20 of 36, 230 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the day. Elijah Higgins, 6 catches, 62 yards, and a touchdown. John Humphreys, 4 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Bryson Tremaine, 3 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown. And Levani Dumanani had 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss on Saturday. As for Oregon, Anthony Brown was 14 of 26, 186 yards, and an interception. C.J. Verdell, they should have given the ball to Verdell a little bit more. 17 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. They should have given the ball to Verdell a little bit more. But Noah Swell had 1 sack and 1 tackle for loss. The Ducks were penalized 10 times for 99 yards, including 3 15-yarders on that 87-yard drive late in the game. The ESPN announcers were saying they were kissing Oregon's butt, and they were like, oh, those penalties should have never been called. I saw the targeting call. Yes, that should have been called. The roughing the passer, kind of borderline. But the holding in the end zone, that was a correct call. And let's think about this for a second. Stanford only had 354 yards total offense, and they were 5 of 14 on third down. They still found a way to win. The Ducks, and I'll say it again, they should have given the ball to C.J. Verdell a little bit more. Now, I know 17 carries for 63 yards. If he would have had over 100, Oregon wins this game going away. The Oregon Ducks tried to run the clock out, but they got too crazy with it, what I should say. And that's what cost them. And it will show in the rankings. And I got the new AP Top 25 poll. That has also come out today. And I'll get to that here after a bit. Stanford, a huge win over Oregon at home. Number 3 Oregon went down on Saturday. Now, the other game that everybody was talking about. Number 7 Cincinnati, number 9 Notre Dame. Notre Dame was shut out in the first half for the first time since 2011. Now, the Bearcats beat the Fighting Irish 24-13. It was 17-0 at the half. I could not believe it. But my hat's off to the Bearcats and Luke Fickell. Now, despite the fact that the Bearcats only had 16 first downs, they were 2 of 11 on third down. They had 2 turnovers. They did have a 386 yards total offense. Desmond Ridder had a great day. 19 of 32, 297 yards, 2 touchdowns. 10 carries, 26 yards, and a touchdown rushing. Alec Pierce had a pretty good day. 6 catches, 144 yards, and that was it for him. And Leonard Taylor, 4 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown of his own. What a great day. As for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they went with the 2-quarterback system. Drew Pine, 9 of 22 for 143 yards and a touchdown. Jack Cohn, 14 of 22 for 114 yards and an interception. Remember, he got hurt against Wisconsin the week before. I haven't forgot about that either. And Kyron Williams, 13 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Now, Notre Dame had 19 first downs, and they were 6 of 17 on third down on the day. But they had 3 costly turnovers, 2 costly fumbles and an interception. That's what hurt the Fighting Irish against Cincinnati. The Bearcats now are in the driver's seat to go 12-0, people. Because I looked at the Bearcats' schedule. It's a cupcake. It's a cakewalk or a cupcake. It's going to have the word cake, no matter how you put it. A big win for the Bearcats on the road in South Bend. Very rare. And Notre Dame's 26-game home win streak came to an end at the hands of the Cincinnati Bearcats and their head coach, former Ohio State alum, Luke Fickell. A great game for him. And that's what the Bearcats needed. All right. The next game I want to talk about. Number 10 Florida losing on the road to Kentucky. Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky was jumping after Kentucky knocked off Florida 20-13 on Saturday. Kentucky's offense couldn't do a thing, but the special teams and the defense was ready to play, and they answered the bell. Will Levis, he was only 7-17 for 87 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception. And he did carry the ball 6 times for 21 yards. Chris Rodriguez Jr., 19 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Wandell Robinson, 4 catches, 65 yards, and a touchdown. Travian Wallace, a big day for him. He returned a blocked field goal, 76 yards, for the go-ahead touchdown late in the third quarter. That was huge. That was a big touchdown, and they needed it. As for the Florida Gators, Emery Jones was the only one to brag about. 23-31, 203 yards, a touchdown and an interception, and 13 carries for 63 yards. Now, you guys are thinking, what in the world happened on Saturday? Kentucky. Listen to these numbers, and you'll find out what went wrong. Kentucky, 13 first downs, 224 total yards offense. That was it. They only had the ball for about 24 minutes, and they were 1 of 9 on third down. As for Florida, 21 first downs, 4 of 13 on third down, 382 yards total offense, over 36 minutes time possession. But listen to this. Florida was penalized 15 times for 115 yards. Florida played sloppy on the road in Lexington on Saturday. That is what happened. I'm not going to stand here and deny anything. That's not true. Florida played sloppy. And I think everybody in Gainesville and everybody in Gainesville's crying foul about it. But as for the city of Lexington, Kentucky and the University of Kentucky Wildcats, a big win over the Florida Gators. The Wildcats made gator bait out of Florida, if you get my drift. Yeah. I shouldn't sound like that, I'm sorry. But when you get a big upset like this in Kentucky, I got more good news for them. And I'll get to that in a bit. And you'll see what I mean, how good Kentucky. They're 5-0 right now. And there's a little bit of a present for them. And I'll get to that here in a bit. All right. The next game I want to talk about. Mississippi State and Texas A&M. Mississippi got an upset victory over number 15 Texas A&M Saturday, 26-22. Will Rogers, 46 of 59, 408 yards, 3 touchdowns. McKay Polk, 13 catches, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jaden Wally, 3 catches, 27 yards, and a touchdown. Nathaniel Watson, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Tyrus Wheat, 1 sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. Nathan Pickering, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. As for Texas A&M, Zach Calzada had another questionable day. He was 12 of 20 for 135 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Isaiah Spiller, he did have 16 carries for 100 yards, but it wasn't enough. And DeMarvin Leal, I feel so bad for him tonight. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Now, keep in mind, Texas A&M, they only had 15 first downs, 297 yards total offense. They were 4 of 11 on third down, but they did a pretty nice job running the ball for 162 yards to the Mississippi State's 30. Now, Mississippi State had 28 first downs, and despite the fact they were 3 of 10 on third down, they did manage 438 yards total offense. Will Rogers won that game. Will Rogers won that game for Mississippi State, and everybody knows it. A great win for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. They are in the driver's seat now, and they're the best team outside of Sparta. Sorry, in the heat of the night, fans, I had to bring that up. A great win for Mississippi State. Could they be in for something special? We'll find out here in. And last but certainly not least, another game of the day. Number 21 Baylor, number 19 Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State won this game 24-14. Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders, 13 of 23, 182 yards, 1 touchdown. He was picked off 3 times. Jalen Warren, 36 carries for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Tay Martin, 7 catches, 108 yards. And Rashad Owens, he had 3 catches for 53 yards and a touchdown. And as for Colin Oliver, he had a big game for Oklahoma State. 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. On a huge day for him. But as for Baylor, Jerry Bohannon, he was 13 of 27 for 173 yards, but he did carry the ball 9 times, 13 yards for a touchdown. Abram Smith, 10 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. What went wrong for Baylor? Baylor only had 10 first downs, 280 yards total offense, 3 of 15 on third down. They were penalized 9 times for 58 yards, but they did have no turnovers. And despite the fact that Oklahoma State turned the ball over 3 times, they still won. And they had 401 yards total offense, and that was a big help. And I think everybody knew it. So here's the deal. Oklahoma State may be a team that everybody needs to watch out for. Everybody's been so busy sleeping on them. Is there a time for change in the Big 12? We'll have to wait and see on that. But the new AP Top 25 poll has come out, and there are some huge changes. 1 and 2 are still the same. Alabama 1, Georgia 2. But after that, it's a mess. And you'll find out what I mean. Alabama 1, Georgia 2. Two very impressive victories on Saturday. They keep those 2 spots. Iowa, a huge victory over a big win over Maryland on Saturday, propels them to the number 3 spot. Penn State, they stay at 4. Iowa, Penn State in a huge game this coming Saturday. Buckle your seatbelts, man. It's going to get crazy. Rounding out the top 5 this week, the Cincinnati Bearcats. A big win over Notre Dame jumps them up 2 spots into the top 5. Oklahoma is at 6 this week, despite the fact they've had to squeak by Kansas State 37-31. Coming in at number 7 this week, Ohio State. A huge win over Rutgers, and a few upsets in front of them propels Ohio State back into the top 10. They jump 4 spots this week to number 7. Coming in at number 8 this week, Oregon. The upset loss and the 3 stupid 15-yard penalties in the final 2 minutes of that game against Stanford cost them 5 spots. They dropped to number 8. Coming in at number 9 this week. Buckeye Nation, you better look out. Michigan is now into the top 10. They jumped 5 spots from number 14 to number 9. The Wolverines are at the 9 spot now. Watch out in Ann Arbor. Coming in at number 10 this week, BYU, Brigham Young University. They jumped 3 spots this week. Coming in at number 11, Michigan State. They jumped 6 spots this week, up to number 11. Number 12 this week, Oklahoma State. They jumped 7 spots in the polls. Coming in at number 13 this week, Arkansas. A 37-0 shutout. They only dropped 5 spots. They better be lucky that's all they dropped. Coming in at number 14, Notre Dame. Being shut out in the first half and only putting 13 points on the board against the Bearcats cost you guys big time. Coming in at number 15 this week, Coastal Carolina. They jumped one spot. Coming in at number 16, the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky, welcome to the top 25. You guys come in at number 16. Coming in at number 17 this week, Ole Miss. They dropped 5 spots in the poll. A bad loss over Alabama after Ole Miss's defense gave up 3 touchdowns to Alabama. You better be lucky that's all you drop. I'll put it that way. Coming in at number 18, Auburn. They jumped 1 spot. And keep in mind, Auburn had to come from behind to beat LSU. Coming in this week at number 19, Wake Forest. The Demon Negans jumped 5 spots up to number 19 this week. Coming in this week at number 20, Florida. A 2013 bad loss and 15 penalties and 115 yards cost the Florida Gators 10 spots. They dropped to number 20. Coming in this week at number 21, the Texas Longhorns. The Longhorns are back, baby, and you better look out. Coming in this week at number 22, Arizona State. Everybody's thinking, could it be an Ohio State-Arizona State rematch in the Rose Bowl from many years ago? Nah. Coming in at number 23 this week, NC State. They did not budge. And coming in at number 24, SMU. The Mustangs and BYU, could they be on a collision course for the Holiday Bowl? I doubt it. And coming in at number 25 this week, San Diego State. They were not ranked last week. Did you guys notice I did not say Clemson? For the first time since 2014, the Clemson Tigers find themselves on the outside looking in the AP Top 25 Bowl in the world of college football. 2 bad losses by the Tigers will do that to you. And that's all there is to it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts. As we close out the weekend, and I've had to ponder who's going to win the ACC. It ain't going to be Clemson. I'm now pondering who's going to win the Pac-12 or the Big 12. Yeah, we already know that in the SEC, Alabama, Georgia, they're the front runners. But don't count out Mississippi State just yet. We all know that Bama and Georgia are going to be the 2 front runners in the SEC. But the ACC is up in the air. And the Big Ten, everybody's thinking Ohio State. But I think everybody now is may have slept on Michigan too much. In the Big Ten race, we got Iowa and the Big Ten West. They're the only team that they can brag about. Penn State. Those 2 are going to be on a collision course this coming Saturday. Ohio State and Michigan. This may be a rivalry game that may matter this time. But there's one other team you need to think about. What about the Cincinnati Bearcats on the American Athletic? The Bearcats, they got a cupcake schedule the rest of the way. They're going to win the American Athletic. And could they possibly get in to the college football playoff? If that happens, Luke Fickell and the Cincinnati Bearcats are going to be on cloud 9. It's been a crazy weekend in college football, everybody. Now, the NFL games were crazy, but the college games were just as crazy, as much better over the weekend. The weekend is over, despite the fact the Cup cars have to race at Talladega at 1 o'clock on Monday. We'll wait and see what happens then. As we wrap up the weekend, we look forward to next weekend. And get ready. Buckle your seatbelts. Iowa, Penn State, Texas, Oklahoma. Anything can happen. And it usually does. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this night. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is type my name, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you'll see all the sports videos I have done so far. I will be back here at high noon, 12 o'clock on Friday for the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Weekend Kickoff Show. We'll have a great weekend. We'll have a lot to talk about on Friday as we get ready for the return of baseball in the playoffs. And during the week on Tuesday and Wednesday, I will do a wrap up of each Wildcard game. I will be doing that as the baseball playoffs get into full swing. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this night. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Good night, everybody, and I thank you.